This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by HVAC Trust Books. Go to hvactrustbooks.com to discover how this tool can help you close more sales. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business and you today. You have to climb up on a roof, either a residential home or a commercial building or even a church. What do you do to make sure that you stay safe? My guest, Ronnie Rose, is the inventor of some easy-to-use, safe, and efficient rigging that you can use on roofs or wherever you need to tie off. Ronnie, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Thanks, Ruth. Happy to be here.
My pleasure. All right, so you actually invented this, right?
It's true.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So you give us a little bit of your background and why you came to invent all this and how cool it is and things like that, because I've seen it. So let's talk a little bit about.
Well, thanks. So I've been roofing for probably about 15 years, and I was doing a lot of the same things that I see a lot of people doing. Did some crazy things for a while, and when probably about 12 years ago, my daughter started roofing with us for a couple summers, and it changed my safety game. All of a sudden, I was not just responsible for her safety, but if you have kids, you know, when you have one around, you just don't have one around. You wind up having your friends around too, and so I employed some of her friends as well, and that's when we first started wearing harnesses and using roof brackets and beginning our journey. And probably about 7 years ago, we were working on a pretty high church roof, probably 50 feet to the gutter and then another 60 feet from the gutter to the ridge. And one of my business partners was about 5'8", 130 pounds, and he could not fit into the harnesses with that come in the buckets safely. So we upgraded our gear and found things that would fit him safely and fit us safely, and kind of changed our safety game again. But kind of what got me started with the tool inventions was there was a slate roofer in our area that passed away, and you know from your contracting experience that the hardest part of the job is finding a contractor who's going to show up and do what they say they are going to do. So we had worked with the slate roofer and trying to find another slate roofer to show up and do the work was problematic. So I bought the best book that I could find on slate roofing, which was Joseph Jenkins' The Slate Roof Bible. Consumed it and gave it to my business partners, and they devoured it, and we loved it. And then we started repairing slate. But I guess one of the benefits of not knowing anything is, and trying to teach yourself, is that you don't know how it's always been done. And so if you don't know how it's always been done, you kind of come up with your own method, and that's what led to the invention of the Slater.
Got it. Okay, so talk a little bit about what the Slater is and how it works.
So the prototype Slater was kind of fun. I asked my guys one day, I said, if we could make a bracket that would go on a ladder, would go on a roof, and it would hold a ladder in place, would you climb that ladder? They said, well, you know, I don't know. So, well, let me work on it over Christmas. So I went to Lowe's and I bought all these scrap pieces of metal and I welded them up, and after Christmas vacation, I showed it to them, and I said, okay, if we bolt a ladder in this, would you climb the ladder? And they said, well, how would you handle the fatigue of this? How would you handle the stresses here? And this is kind of hard to put the ladder in, but if you figured that out, then yeah. So then I went back to the drawing board and started drawing the Slater bracket. And Ruth went through 5 evolutions or so to get the design that we wanted, and tested it, redesigned it, tested it, redesigned it, and we got to our final version. And so it holds a ladder on a roof really securely, and is also an OSHA compliant anchor point for fall protection. It allows us to climb a ladder on a roof very easily.
Cool. And it's a lot easier than tying it off too, correct?
Well, there's multiples of ways to get over a roof. Method A, people scramble up without any fall protection. That's not our business model. Method B would be people might put a couple roof brackets in, put a board on it, put a ladder on it, and then climb that ladder. That's not very secure. Method C might be somebody puts a ridge hook on a ladder and they send it over the ridge and climb it. That works fine until you can't reach the ridge, or if you're on a hip roof, it won't work. The next method would be somebody will throw a line over the roof, shoot a beam back over the roof, pull a fall protection line, and use that for their safe first descent. So we've kind of been over that whole journey, and where we are now is the best place I think the industry's ever been.
Cool. Very good. All right. So when we get back from break, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the safety things that you do, because you also do a lot of safety training, correct?
I do.
All right. So when we get back from break, we will talk a little bit about the training that you do and how everything works and go from there. Will that work?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay. All right. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. We'll be right back. I've seen my clients' salespeople struggle when a customer asks why they should use your company rather than the competition when your price is higher and you both are proposing the same equipment. I've seen technicians struggle when customers ask them whether they should replace an 18-year-old air conditioner. And most salespeople and technicians never ask the one question that most customers are concerned about, yet never ask. Can I trust you? I found a tool that gives your salespeople and technicians the ammunition to answer this question and more. And the tool works. How do I know? 68% of my clients are using it to increase sales and referrals. What is it? A trust book with your name on it as the author. More details are at hvactrustbooks.com. Warning, there is only one contractor per area that can get these great books. Some areas are already taken. They've gone to my clients. If you want your area and want to have a tool for your salespeople and technicians to increase referrals and sales, then go to hvactrustbooks.com now and reserve your area.
Don't let this happen to you. Here's a transcript of an email sent to Ruth King. Dear Ruth, I wish I had this book 2 years ago. I discovered my bookkeeper had embezzled over $200,000 from the company. I used to be debt-free. Now I have a mortgage and payments on other debt I incurred to relieve the cash flow crunch caused by the embezzlement. Don't let this sad situation be your story too. An epidemic of workplace thievery and embezzlement harms today's business world, our economy, and ultimately your income and net worth. Discover the top 50 ways employees and vendors steal from you in Ruth King's new book, The Ugly Truth About Cash. Ruth also gives you the procedures to implement to help prevent embezzlement and keep the honest people honest. Find The Ugly Truth About Cash on Amazon or go to www.thecouragetobeprofitable.com to order an autographed copy of Ruth's book. Get the information you need to protect your hard-earned cash and assets. That's thecouragetobeprofitable.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I'm talking with Ronnie Rose, and he is the inventor of Name the Product for me, Ronnie.
Oh boy. Well, the first one, the first one is the Slater, which was a bracket to hold a ladder on a roof to help us make a safe first descent.
Mm-hmm.
That was working great for slate roofs, but we wanted asphalt shingle roofers to be able to use it as well also. And what most people don't want to do is put a hole in their roof. And so I needed to invent a way for people to repair holes, anchor holes that were put in the roof. And so I invented the bibby, which was it's like a little hamburger flipper, but it's a pretty cool little tool and will help you separate the shingles. And that sells really well. I had no idea that would happen. The next one was probably a V1 temporary anchor. Ruth, I came to at one of my jobs, and one of my business partners, who's fairly strong, had trouble getting his connecting device into the anchor that we were using, so he reached down and bent the anchor. And as soon as he did that, the anchor is actually no longer an OSHA compliant anchor, and it led me to look into all the little things that went into developing that anchor, and why did they put the holes here, and why did they do this, and that uncovered multiple problems with that anchor, and led to me looking at the problems that are involved in almost all the anchors on the market. And so we developed the V1 anchor, which is almost bomb-proof. It's pretty incredible. Then, if you're in the repair business, you find that, well, your client might not be able to afford all the repairs at once, and so you get back on that same roof. You might be on that roof now. You might be on that roof next year. The chimney guy might be on that roof. The solar guys might be on that roof. So we invented a permanent anchor called the V5 permanent anchor, and that's really cool because it actually penetrates the roof. It's stainless steel. It's 3/8 of an inch thick, and it wraps around the rafter. And pretty much with a couple of those on a roof, you could probably lift the roof off the house if you had a helicopter strong enough. So we've kind of taken this path that paying it forward when we go to a job, and especially in your chimneys, we will ask our clients, would they consider thinking about the safety of the next guy? How about the chimney guy? How about when they want to get up there and clean their gutters? What are they going to tie off to? And what's interesting that you're going to find that most people, they don't tie off to anything. There's different standards that people apply at a job site, and they apply when they get home, and we would like that not to be that way. We would like to make it easy for people to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So you also do training programs, correct? So let's talk a little bit about some of the training programs that you've done.
Well, that's a good question. When we do safety training that's related to roofing, and since we've worked on a variety of roofs, and roofs are almost like people. You meet one, but the next one's different, and the next one's different, and the next one's different. But these people are a little bit alike. These roofs are a little bit alike, but there seems to be always a different challenge in how do you get up there? What do you tie off to? And so I help people figure that sort of stuff out. Teach them to think through the problems that they're going to encounter, and how to solve those problems, and come up with multiple solutions, and choose the right solution, and apply that.
Very good. All right. And if somebody wanted to contact you, how do they go about getting a hold of you?
The best way is to go to our website, which is Slator, SLATOR-USA.com, and all the contact information, Ruth, is right there at the bottom.
Okay. Give us the website again.
It's www.slator-USA.com.
Cool. All right, Ronnie, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing, the invention of all the things to keep us safe on roofs.
Well, you're welcome.
All right.
Thanks for asking, Ruth.
My pleasure. All right. And thank you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email ruthking@hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.